old you are. Welcome to the Microsoft 365 SharePoint Bangalore. Um, Thanks to all the organizers for providing me this opportunity to share my knowledge on this platform. It's basically, I'm glad that I will be starting with the dev track, okay, where we will be exploring Teams Graph API. Before starting, a little bit about myself. I'm Siddharth Vakasia. I'm a Microsoft MVP and a technical consultant, primarily focusing on SharePoint, Office 365, Azure, and I like to share knowledge by writing articles on my personal blog on C Sharp Corner. I'm an active PNP contributor where I contribute to some of the sample galleries, which I'm sure you might have seen from the VESA samples, where there are SPFX sample galleries per part, and also like to contribute to Office 365 CLI, other PNP projects. Okay, with this, I would like to tell you that it's a nice opportunity if we contribute to open source project, because at the end it's the community who benefit from it, and we don't need to rewrite the code which is already developed. Okay, so and these are some of the social handles through which you can connect with me. uh, First of all, let's thanks all the sponsors, okay, like Microsoft, J-Power for Panthera Technology, and Soho Dragon, without which this event would not have been possible. And I'm sure there are many gifts and prizes to be won thanks to the sponsor who would have sponsored this. So keep yourself engaged, keep tweeting about M365 Bangalore, and there are some quizzes which are at the end of the day, which would let you win the prizes thanks to all the sponsors. So today's agenda, we would be talking about, we'll first see the Teams Graph API overview. Then we will see what are the list of available endpoints. Then we'll talk about protected APIs within Teams Graph API. And we will see some of the latest and new endpoints which are available. And then we will see a demo of how to automate a team lifecycle using Microsoft Forms and Power Automate. And then at the end, there will be a Q&A session. And with that, I would like to start the session. So before moving to Teams Graph API, let's just take a quick recap on what is Graph API. Okay, so we know that Graph API is basically a unified programming model which allows us to access tremendous amount of data across Microsoft 365 products like Teams, SharePoint, Calendar, messages, meetings, everything. Okay, and as a developer, we would need this kind of APIs which are available so that we can build custom applications, or we can interact with the Office 365, M365 data in our application. So Graph API provides us a single endpoint for all the REST APIs which are available. Okay, and with this, what happens is using a single endpoint. It means that if you wanted to do something outside of M365, if you wanted to use get the information from the M365 data, you can use this kind of Graph API. There are other options also available, but slowly and gradually, all the customization or all the ways of accessing data in M365 is getting diverted toward Graph API, and new endpoints are getting available nowadays. So today we would be exploring Teams Graph API, right? So we took a quick recap of Graph API. Now take quick recap of Microsoft Teams. Okay. Now, as you might have seen from the welcome video from Jeff and Vesa also, that Teams is growing very tremendously, and the usage is being like there are 115 million active daily active users. Okay. Now, with the situation which we are in, the usage of Team has been very much, and with the fact of saying that we are in fact attending this event or hosting this event with Microsoft Teams itself says that how Teams is being used nowadays, right? It's not just an instant messaging solution. Basically, it provides a chat-based workspace for collaborating, for meetings, and it also provides some calling and enterprise voice features. So many organizations is also using Teams for their customer support services also, where they can actually dial, make calls from the Microsoft Teams. So, and the nowadays the usage of Team is not just for the as a client-based solution or an instant and messaging solution. We as a developer, I'm sure many of us would be developer in this track. We would be working on automating a business process automation, right? We might be we might need user to interact with the data. We would be developing some custom forms, or we would be displaying some custom data onto the page. And what we used to do is we either use SharePoint, okay, where we create a web part, or we use content editor web part to display data into SharePoint page, and we send them email, and from where they just click on it and they come to a SharePoint page where they can approve item and reject item, which is an approval business process. This is the bare minimum use case which we always do when we try to automate a business process, right? Nowadays, what is happening is Teams is also being used as an UX or an user interface, which are part of this business process automation solution. So that is why it is very important to understand what are the things which is available with the Teams API. Moving on, to understand Teams Graph API, we should be understanding certain concepts and terminology which are there across Teams. I am sure many of you already know, but this would be a just quick recap on what we have as a concept and terminology. We know within a Teams, okay, what we have a Teams client application where you can do one-to-one chat between two users. You can do a group chat, okay, and then there is a team, okay. Now the team concept is basically where it's you create a team for specific business when a business issue arises or a business case, maybe for a project, simple project management collaboration, you create a team. Every team would have its name. There would be a description for the team. There would be owners for the team who would be having a special access to the team on what they can do with the teams. Then there are members of the team who would be having less access. They might be part of your team conversation collaboration, but they might not be able to manage some settings that the team. So that's where there are settings also which are available in the team. Then you can have apps within the team, and you can also create tags within the team. Now, apps within the teams are basically, you can add different apps to your team, and then that apps can be surfaced as a tab within a channel. Right now, we all know that once you create a team, if you would have noticed, there is a general channel which is being created, right? So a team in itself is nothing until and unless it has a channel. So the first and the default channel which is getting created is a channel where the collaboration would take place, where the messaging between the teams members would take place, where the files would be shared and everything. Okay, it's not just limited to the general channel. You can create or your own channel. That channel can have a name, a description. Channel can have its own owners and members if the channel is private. If you create a channel which is basically part of your team, anybody who is the owner or the members of the team would automatically be part of that channel. But if you want to create a separate private channel within your team, that also is possible. Then a channel can have tabs where you can surface any website or any custom application which you develop as a tab within your channel. Then channel will definitely have messages, and channel can have its own settings. Moving on, now let's see now what is Teams Graph API, right? Because this Teams Graph API are part of the Graph API endpoints, okay, which allows us to interact with the Teams related resources and data, okay. With using Teams Graph API, what we can do is we can access Teams data, okay, in your custom application. Maybe you are developing an ASP.NET application, or maybe you are developing a PHP application or a Node.js based application. You can use Graph API and you can access Teams data in your M365 and surface the data into your custom application. In fact, you can also perform CRUD operations on your Teams data. And same way, this is about the custom application which you develop outside of your M365 infrastructure, right, within your custom application. There might be cases where you might have to access the Teams data within your Teams customization. Like suppose if you are, we all know that there are different options with team customization. We can create custom tabs, we can create bots within the team, we can create connectors. There are messaging extensions which can be part of your channel messaging feature, through which you would be able to surface a UX user interface and perform some operations onto your data. Then you can create websites which would be surfaced as a Teams tab, and then you can also build services and also activity feed. So these are the different ways, different client applications or customizations wherein you can interact with the Teams Graph API. Moving on, let's first see what all we can do with the Teams. Okay, in not from the technical perspective, but from the feature-wise perspective. So what you can do is you can list all your teams. Okay. Now when I say list all your teams, it means it's and user based feature where it will list all the teams the user is part of. If suppose I'm part of 10 teams, this is where it will give you the 10 teams which I'm part of as a list. Okay, so you will get all the teams which I'm part of. Then you can list all the teams. Okay, so this functionality, I mean this feature might be useful for the admins or the governance team or the governance architecture team where they might want to list all the teams, okay, across your M365 products. Okay, so here it will give you data which is superior than the current signed in users or the current users team, right? Then you can perform CRUD operation on the team, like you can create a new team using Graph API. You can read the teams, read a team, like team name, team description, and the team settings. You can update the team. You can update the team's name, description. You can update different team settings which are available, and you can also delete a team. Next, cloning a team. Okay, why this is important is because we might be having a team template which we wanted to use as a part of governance. Like whenever a new team is created, we wanted to have certain settings by default which needs to be enabled to create a team, right? So with this, what you can do is there is a Graph API endpoint available through which you can directly call that team, and it will automatically take all the basic settings which are done as a part of team. You can also choose whether you wanted to move owners and teams members with along with the team or not. Okay. Then you can archive and unarchive a team. You can add, remove owners to the team, and then you can get files, notebook, plans, calendars of the team. Okay. And as I said, with the team, channels are important. So you can also get list of all the channels within your team. You can create a new channel, you can update, and you can delete a new channel. So these are the basic operations with respect to teams and the channel, okay, which we can do. So these are the operations which we can perform. There are certain other operations also which we can do with using Teams Graph API. Uh, they are related to Teams tab, wherein you can use Graph API endpoint to create a Teams tab within a channel. You can edit that. You can also remove it. Then you can also use operations wherein you can add an app to a team. You can list down what all apps are been installed for a team. You can publish an app, and you can also remove an app. Then the most important is chat messages, wherein you can read and send messages to the channel. Okay, there are certain conditions on which how you can use this API that we will come to it later when we talk about the protected APIs. Then you can also, there are also communication APIs which are available as a part of Teams Graph API, wherein you can create some bot, okay, which can answer the calls, which can reject the call, which can mute, unmute the call, which can also list the participant of the meeting and invite the meeting. Like for example, there can be a bot which would be sitting in a meeting like this, and there is a calling API which is available as a part of Team API. As soon as some activity happens within the meeting which is going on, it will basically call a webhook which we can capture, and which will give you list of the current participant in that meeting. Okay, wherein for all the participants there are certain information which is available like user ID, whether that participant is on mute, unmute, or whether any participant is in the lobby, okay, who is waiting to join in. All kind of information is there, and they can use this information to collect the data and put it into your custom database, where you can then see like who all have attended the meeting. Then there are some of you might be aware there is an Shift app which is available as a part of Microsoft Team, which you can use to create Shift within your team. So it's basically like a Shift management, which many of the organization or we as a team might be part of the Shift. If there is an kind of support which we are doing for an customer, we might want the team to come in a different shifts, right? And so with this application, what you can do is you can create a shift within your team. You can tell that I mean, guy A would be coming from, on this date from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and this guy would come from maybe 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. or 12 p.m. Okay, and this data can be accessed via Microsoft Teams. Okay, I have seen one of the use case wherein this Shift application or the Shift data was being used to send some reminders to the send some reminders to the employees or resources a day before, where as soon as their shift says, it just send an email reminder to them saying that your shift starts in next 2 hours. Okay, or in a previous day it says that this is your shift schedule for this week. This where they have used Graph API to get data from the shift and then just creating the reminder or schedule workflow where they send this kind of reminders to the user. Now, as we know, the Graph API, there is an endpoint patterns which is available. Why it is important to understand? Because we might not remember all the endpoints URLs which are there, because there are huge amount of endpoints. There are huge endpoints which are available for different resources. Like we are talking only about Teams, but there are Graph APIs where you can access Outlook, calendars, meetings, user data, OneDrive data, SharePoint data, and many things can be done, right? So we might not able to understand, but as a not as a ground rule, but what generally the pattern which Graph API follow is, it is basically the the main domain would be graph.microsoft.com, and then slash it would be the version 1 or version or beta version. Okay, according to the general availability of that particular endpoint, whether it is in a beta or whether it is in general availability. If it is in general availability, the endpoint would start with version 1.0, and if it is in public or in beta version, it would be slash beta version, and then slash the resources name. Like for example, what we see here is graph.microsoft.com slash version 1 slash teams. Okay, so as we say this is teams, what it will do, it will list down all the teams, right? And it will list down all the teams for the if it is an application permission use that we will be talking about, then it will get all the teams within your M365 tenant. Okay, what if you wanted to get a particular team, right? So this is the pattern which is been followed. Like once it ends with this slash teams, what you do is it basically the next parameter in the URL which you pass is the team's ID, and it will give you that particular information about that particular team ID. Now, consider this as a maybe that you might have to do multiple calls. Okay, like for example, if you wanted to get all the channels within a team, first thing you need to know is the team ID. Okay, and to get the team ID, what you have to do is you might have to first call all the teams. Okay, then if you might definitely not know the team ID, right, until and unless it is stored somewhere. So what you will be doing, you will be calling the teams list all teams API. Then if you might wanted to, for example, get the team ID of a particular team name, you have to just basically use the resource query parameters to get that particular team. Within that, then you extract the team ID out of it, and then you call the channel APIs to get all the channels within the team. Okay. Similar way, the pattern follows. Like once you wanted to get information about a particular channel within a team, it says like slash teams, team ID slash channels, and then you have to pass the channel ID. And if you wanted to get all the tabs within the channel, as I said, tabs are part of the channels and not as a part of the teams. That's where if you wanted to get all the tabs which are installed for a particular channel, this is the pattern which you have to follow. Okay, so this is just for your information. Okay, you don't need to remember everything. Okay, there is a good amount of documentation available in Microsoft itself, and there is a Graph Explorer which we would be seeing in a while. You just have to follow the documentation, but as a developer you should be understanding what might be the possible endpoints which would be there, if at all there is a resources which is available, which is exposed as a part of Teams Graph API. Moving on, permissions, right? Like we say, like all these things are possible, but what about security? Who would be able to access this data? Because we are talking about a huge amount of data which is being exposed as a Graph API. Okay, how does the permission works in it? I mean, who would be able to call? What things they would be able to call within Graph API? That is being controlled. Like every endpoint in Graph API requires permission. I'm sure many of us would have already, as a developer, would have done this. Okay, there are three types of permissions. Okay, and basically there are two types of permission, but the delegated and application permission. But there are different permission listed out based on the delegated permission, what kind of account you have with your M365. Okay, if it is a work or school account, maybe certain APIs would be only be available with the delegated permissions with work and school account, and certain APIs would be only be available with delegated with the personal Microsoft account, which is nothing but the Microsoft Live account. Okay. Then there is an application permission where you are giving permission to call that graph API to a client or to your, whatever customization you are doing using client ID and client secret. Okay. How this is done? This is done using Azure AD app registration, which we will walk through. What you do is, this is the high level step. You create or you register your Azure AD app by going to portal.azure. You can see the screenshot on the right hand side, and then you provide permission according to the requirement what all graph endpoints you needed. Okay, this graph endpoints and the permission types are listed down in the Microsoft Docs, which would be required according to the permission type for a particular endpoint. So that needs to be given permission to this Azure AD app, and then you generate a secret key and you use this information to call the graph API actually when you wanted to use it. Okay, so let's see how this works. Okay, uh, for example, so this is the URL which is there in this slide, which I'm noting. For example, we are talking about a graph endpoint to create a team. Okay, now what you will have is you will have a table which says permissions. Okay, so this is where it says one of the following permission is required to call this API, and this permission is from least to most privileged. Okay, like for example, this API to create a team is only supported with permission type of delegated and application. It means you cannot use delegated permission with personal Microsoft account. You cannot create a team. Okay, so if the permission you are using, I mean the delegated permission you are using, it has to be either work or school account, and these are the different permissions which is required to call this endpoint. Okay, same way if you say list all the members. Okay, then there would be a different permissions which would be required. Okay, so this is where I was talking about, like the documentation itself tells us what is the HTTP request which you need to call and what should be the request body. Okay, it will give you an example of the request body also, and what would be the response. Okay, request body would be only required when it is post, put and merge. Okay, you know that with the get we don't need to pass request body until and unless the get request has been created. But I have not seen any graph endpoint with the get request where we have to pass the request body. It is always the parameter needs to be passed either as a part of the URL, right? So this is where you would be able to see all the endpoints which are available as a part of Microsoft Team and Graph, and what all things you can do. If you see here, there is a category wherein within Teamwork you can say team, then you can say group, which is basically a team. But behind the scenes, as Vesa mentioned, right, that team is basically SharePoint and developed using team SharePoint where the data is stored, and there is an Office 365 group where all the permissions and everything is managed. So basically, to access the members related information for a team, you have to use group and resource endpoint. So which says graph API endpoint, I mean the graph.microsoft.com, and then the endpoint would be slash graph, or it would be slash graph and then the resource key. Okay, so this is not the teams. Okay, this is one thing to note here. Then if it is a channel, you go to list the channels which I've talked about in my slide, wherein if you wanted to list the channels within a team, you have to pass the ID and you will get all the information about the channels which are there. Right. Now, documentation is fine. I mean, what if I wanted to quickly try something, right? So what we generally used to do, we used to have Postman where we basically use this documentation, generate the request body if it is a post, put, merge, and or if it is a get, we just use Postman. Okay, but I'm sure many of you would already know, but just to again recap on how we can use Graph Explorer, which is been provided by Microsoft, where we can test all the graph endpoints. Okay. One thing to note here is that Graph Explorer is not just for Teams Graph API. Okay. It is available for all the graph endpoints. You can come and test it here. So this is the URL which is there in the slide and which I can share later also. Once you refresh the page, okay, you would be asked to sign in if at all you wanted to try signing in. What will happen is all the endpoints would be called using the delegated permission for using under this particular account. Now, if you wanted to try, there are some sample queries which are available which you can quickly check. Like for example, you can get my join teams, right? So if you click on it, okay, what will happen is it will basically create the URL for you, which is available. So, and it will run the query within the current user context, and it will give you data of all the teams which I'm part of. So like, for example, I'm part of this team, Justice League, AIT and everything for this particular account, which you can see it in these teams. Okay. So if you see, this is my logged in user and I'm part of all these teams. So this is the data which has been written by it. Now, like for example, we wanted to get the channels within a particular team, right? So here there is a sample query which is available, which says get channel of a team which I am member of. Okay. So if you click on it, it won't directly execute. It will tell that it needs a team ID. Okay. So that's where I was talking about, like every detailed endpoint within a team, resource endpoint within a team requires some information to be passed, which we might have to call before. So that's a sequence of REST APIs which we would have to call. Okay, so if I pass team ID and if I say slash channels, it will give me a list of the channels which are there within this particular team. Okay, so there are 3 channels which is there, which is Doomsday Operation, My First Team, and Stephen Wolf. Okay, so these are the 3 channels which are available. So these are the sample queries which is available. Okay, one thing to note here is that with the Teams API, these are not only the APIs which is available, or with the graph, these are not only the APIs which is available. Okay, these are basically the sample queries which are very few, which gives you a direct way to test that API within which. But if you wanted to try something, what you can do is, if suppose there is no sample available, how to delete a channel, right? But you can go here, you can use the documentation, okay, by passing teams and channels ID and whatever request body you wanted to pass. Okay, so there's no request body required. If you call this API within the Graph Explorer, this will also work. Okay, but just make sure that as you are doing a post operation, you might want to do it on your test teams or test channels, because post will always kind of update the data rather than testing the data, right? So this is about Graph Explorer. Moving on, uh, this is just a one slide for your quick reference, which I got it from the Microsoft document site itself, where it lists down all the known resources which are available for the Teams endpoint. Like for example, this is the resources like Teams, groups, channels, Teams tab, and what are the methods which is available. So these are basically the API methods or the REST API methods which you can do, right? So we have seen like teams where you can list all the teams, create, update, and perform the operations within a team. Then there is API for Teams tab, Teams app. So this will just basically can be used as a quick reference on what all things might be possible using Graph API and what not. Okay. Depending on when you are kind of referring this slide or referring Microsoft, I've always prefer use the Microsoft documentation, because they might be updating this non-resources table where they might be adding or removing the methods which are available or new resource which they are adding as a part of their Graph API development. Moving on, protected APIs. Okay, this might be new to something. I mean, when there was a time when I was also not aware. Okay, but protected APIs with Microsoft Teams are something, because as we all know, Teams is an instant messaging solution, right? It means the chat messages are being exchanged between the users or within the channels and everything. And these are the sensitive data which are private to the individual. Okay, so uh, though Microsoft has provided us APIs to access this data, okay, they are sensitive in nature, but they are called as protected APIs, okay. And if you wanted to access this protected APIs, there is an additional validation beyond permissions and consent, which would be required before use them. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to contact Microsoft via this request URL. Okay, this is a Microsoft form request form, through which you would have to access the you would have to contact Microsoft saying that I wanted to use these protected APIs. Okay, I'll list down what are the protected APIs in the next slide, and you send a request to them. You justify why you wanted to do this, what kind of customization you wanted to, what you will be doing with that data and everything. And depending on your justification, they might approve and reject your or reject your request. Okay. Now, one thing to understand is that the request is been reviewed every Wednesday. Okay, and it's been deployed to your tenant. It means if it is approved, uh, until and unless if it is approved, okay, if you are trying to call a protected API, you will see that this you will get an error message saying that this API is basically protected and cannot be called until and unless it is enabled. Okay, so once it is approved, these approvals are enabled every Friday. It means once it is approved, you will be able to call these protected APIs. But these certain APIs, okay, depending on different permission types, okay, which is most of them are application permission types, okay, and related to messages and chats and everything. They are not directly accessible. Okay, you have to first contact them, Microsoft, get the request approved, and then they will enable it for you, and then you will be able to use it. Okay, you can learn more about this Teams Protected API using this URL which is below. Now, these are the list of protected APIs. Okay, as I said, most of them are for the application permission. Like for example, you can list the channel messages. Okay, if you are using delegated permission, you can definitely use the API to list the channel messages. Because why? Because it means it is assumed that you would be part of that channel. You are member of or owner of that channel, and you already can see that message using Teams application or teams.microsoft.com because you are already part of the Teams channel. But when you are using application permission, it means though you are not part of teams or channel, okay, but as an admin, you are developing, you want to access that data using application permission, which is over and above the users who are part of the channel. So this is not available by default. What you have to do is, if you wanted to develop a customization, if you wanted to use application permission to get the channel messages, it is a protected API. You need to first contact Microsoft, and then only they would be able to, they would enable, and then you would be able to call using application permissions. Right. So these are the list of protected APIs. I won't go into detail, but if you see, most of them are basically related to messages. Okay, because the message is the content which is basically very sensitive in nature. Okay, like the users within the organization might be sharing, exchanging information which might be private in nature. Like for example, between the manager and the employee, between one-to-one chat between the users. And if you wanted to get that information or build some customizations around it, the permissions would be there. I mean, the permission from the Microsoft is required. Moving on, let's see what's new. Okay.
Siddharth,
Within,
sorry, we have 5 more minutes. Plan it.
yeah, sure, no problem. Okay. So these are the GA of presence APIs. Okay, and wherein you can get the presence data of the um, presence data of the users. Okay, then they have added resource specific content permission for the version 1 APIs, wherein the team owners can provide consent rather than they have to depend on the admins. Then there are the this channel message APIs have been recently added here. Okay. As I have less time, what I will do is I will quickly go. I wanted to first pick the demo. Okay. So the demo is basically to create a team's life cycle. Okay. Why do you want to automate a team's life cycle? You wanted to basically create a team. You wanted to add owners and members to the team. You wanted to change the settings. You want to create channels. You wanted to install app and tabs to it. Okay. And you might want to archive and delete the teams. Okay. So with having said that, okay, uh, organization might want to do this because they might want to, create a team on the go as soon as they wanted. There is a business issues which arises. Like for example, schools and colleges might need professors to create a team for the classes, which would be same in the nature. And as soon as they schedule something in maybe a SharePoint list or somewhere else, the team should be created automatically. So this is where this kind of use cases were added. We might wanted to automate a team's life cycle, right? Then there is a governance around teams creation. Like what if we wanted to control as an CEO that we don't want any user to create the team, but we only wanted to create team after certain approvals. Okay. So let's see quickly see the demo. Okay. So what I did is, I mean, as a part of demo for the Microsoft Teams Graph API, Microsoft has provided a Contoso GitHub link where they have used Graph API SDK to automate this business lifecycle. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to try something different. So wherein I have used Microsoft Forms. where any user within your organization can request and teams which we wanted to create. And then we are using Microsoft Flow. Once the request has been approved, we wanted to use Microsoft Flow, and using Microsoft Flow, we are calling Graph APIs, okay? And then we are creating team accordingly, okay? So if I say this is the form, okay, which asks basic information from the user, like if I say M365 Bangalore demo, then this would be the description. Then if I need an email address of the team owner, okay, so I will enter. I wanted the visibility of the team to be public, and this is the member of the channel. So my flow would be intelligent enough to add members to that teams. Then I also wanted to create a channel within a team. Okay, so I'll say my channel. Okay, and a description of the channel. Then I also wanted to create a tab. Okay, now what tab I would be creating? I would be creating just a simple tab to display a SharePoint site within the teams. Okay, so I'll say my tab, and I wanted to add the URL. So I'll just surface a Microsoft Teams site within that Teams channel. Okay, and then these are some of the settings which I have used. Okay, there are different settings which are available, but these are the quick ones. Okay, like by default, it allows us to edit messages. What if I don't want them to edit the message? I'll click no. What if I don't want them to create a private channel? And what if I don't want them to upload custom X? Okay, there are different settings available which are there as a part of this thing. Once I submit this, okay, what it will do, it will basically go for an approval, okay, which is I have added my name only within an approval, so it will maybe take a couple of minutes to get the approval mail. And while it is happening, what I will do is, let me just quickly walk you through the flow which I have written. Okay, so the trigger point is when a new response is submitted. Okay, and once a new response is submitted, we are getting the response detail, and then we are creating some of the variables for the information which we have as a part of our team response. So if you see here, meanwhile, I got a new request saying that there is a request to new team has been created, and from this, please approve or reject. So I'll approve it from here itself. Okay, then the workflow would move ahead. It will wait until the approval is done. If it is rejected, it will directly send an email saying that the request has been rejected. This is basically an use case demo. Okay, according to your requirement, you can create 2 levels of approval or 3 levels of approval, whichever you wanted to do. So once it is approved, what you will see is within a team, if you see here, a new team is created, which is M365 Bangalore, right? Which I have created, and there is a general tab also, which was, I mean, general meeting, which has been created. Uh, Workflow might be still running, okay? So it might be also creating a new channel. So let me just refresh it once. Okay, now if you see, there is a hidden channel which says my channel. Okay, and this is the channel which is done as a part of Deno. What we am doing is, as soon as a new team is created, I am also sending a welcome message within the general channel, okay, which we will see how I have implemented it. So this is that. And then if you go to manage team, as I said, there are certain settings which I'm doing, okay, like members permission. If you see, I have unchecked to add or remove apps, which is would be there. Then I also unchecked to create and update channels, which is unchecked. And I also have said that I don't want user to edit the message, which is unchecked. So by default, once you create a new team within your with using team interface, all the settings are enabled for the members, which we have basically closed. I mean, which we have not allowed the users to do that permissions, right? And other thing, if you go, it takes couple of minutes to surface the tab. Okay, so let me just quickly refresh this. Okay, now if you see, there is a new tab which is created, my tab. Okay, and within that tab, a SharePoint site has been surfaced with whatever URL I have given. So this is how the Teams automation is been created and how Teams has been surfaced. We created a channel within Team, we added tabs within Team, and we also set some settings. Okay, Now, to see how this has been done, okay, as I said, we are assigning some variables. We are waiting for the approval, okay, and once it is approved, then we are getting the owner ID. Now, one thing to note here is, as I said, we are using Graph API. Okay, there are certain Teams actions which are available, which I wanted you to know. If you go to actions, if you see, there are certain Teams actions which are already available, which you can use. Okay, but to highlight that, there might be situation wherein you might not be able to find an action which is available out of the box from this Power Automate Designer. Then you can use the Graph API endpoint using the Azure Ready app registration. Okay. Now, why would I need owner ID? Okay. And now the thing is, while creating the team and while using Azure, okay, we were asking user email address. Okay, but as a part of the post request in the body, we have to pass the user ID. So this is where I'm getting the user ID. And for this, I'm not using the Teams Graph API, but I'm using users Graph API to basically get the owner ID of the team. This is nothing but to get the user ID for the owner of the team which has been requested. Same way we are getting user member ID, and this is where I am creating the sorry, not this. Yeah, this is where I'm creating the team's request body. So if you see, this is interesting. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So we are creating a JSON object where we are displaying the team name, description, the member of the team, where we are saying the role of the owner. Okay, one thing to note here is that in the single request, you cannot add owners and members. Okay, I'm not sure whether it is a limitation or whether I'm missing something, but that's what I found is that first you have to create the team with the owner, and then you can only add the members to it. Okay, I'm sure somebody might correct if I'm wrong within team itself, and I'll be happy to learn about it. Then you are saying what all channels you wanted to create. So these are the basically the channels. These variables are assigned from the response in the team forms which I have there. Then you are saying I wanted to create a tab, and the tab of the type is web. Okay, where this is the name of the tab, and this in the configuration I'm passing the URL of the content URL within the tab. And this is where you set the member settings, what you wanted to do. Do you want to allow and create update channels? Do you want to add or remove apps, or do you wanted to allow user to edit the messages? So this is where the body of the team's JSON, which is required as a part of calling the Graph API, is there. And then you pass the you call the endpoint, which is teams endpoint, which is of type post. Okay, now comes the interesting part. As I said, like it needs permission, right? So every endpoint cannot be called from anywhere. Okay, is I have created a Azure Ready Graph API where I have given all the required permissions here. Okay, and then I have generated a secret key. Okay, which I'm be using in the action. Okay. Please note that this HTTP action is a premium action. It means it would need you to use a Power Automate license, which is not the free one, to call this. Okay, but depending on how you wanted to automate it, this might be, there might be different ways to use. You might use a function. Yeah, Jenkins, just I will need
Ability.
quick two
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, quick 2 minutes. Sorry about it.
Thank you. No
Yeah. Yeah. So you will call the graph. You can call it using Azure functions. You can create ASP.NET application or custom API and host it somewhere. Okay, that also will cost you. Okay, but this is also something which will basically cost you. But if you are doing this kind of customization, there might be free ways of do it. Okay, but this is just for the demonstration purpose. So just understand that this request basically is the not the free one, and you would need a license to. So once you have this request, what you do is then you create, then you wanted to add a team member to it. Okay. Now for adding the team member, there is again response. I mean the JSON would be required, which is just to pass the role as a member and the user ID. Okay. For the demonstration purpose, I'm just using one owner and one email address. But depending on if you wanted to ask multiple, you can just loop it through, create the JSON object accordingly, and then pass it. It will still work. And once you add the members, we are getting all the channels. Okay, and this is to post a welcome messages to the general channel. So you have to find the channel name, which is basically general. Okay, and you have to get the channel ID. So this is where I was saying, like if you wanted to get the ID of particular resource or something where you want to post, you need to write your custom logic and you can compare it using display message. So this is where I am comparing whether it is general, and then once I get the channel ID, I am using the out of the box post and message where I just have to pass the team ID and the channel ID and post the messages. We are sending the email. Okay. So this is how you have seen, like we created a Teams. Okay. We created a custom channel within the team, and we did some settings within the team, and we also added a tab within channel where we put a content URL. Okay. So this is the team automation, okay, which we can do using Microsoft Form and Power Automate and using Graph API. Sorry, I had to run through it. Okay, but if there are any questions, I would be available on the dev track, or I can be also post sessions. I can be also there to explain things. These are some of the quick resources which you can use to explore the Teams Graph API. With this, I'm not sure whether we have Q&A time, but thank you again all the organizers to provide this opportunity to share my knowledge, and all the participants who actively listen to my session. And if there are any questions, I'll be happy to help. Over to you, Jenkins, and sorry about rushing it through.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you so much.